Hi there, it's Mark, and today in Nik Collection 9 I thought we should just roll our sleeves up and do some edits, and I'll show you how quick and easy you can achieve some really good stylization on your photography. We'll use Analog Efex for one, we'll use Color Efex for another, we will use Silver Efex for the third, and finally we will use Viveza for the fourth. I'll show you the pictures now, and then I'll tell you where you can get them, and then we'll talk a little bit about what else we're going to do, and then I'll play the titles, fill my coffee cup, and away we go. So here is Ella on a cherry tree Photoshop. I said Photoshop. Am I allowed to say Photoshop on a Nik Collection 9 video? Do I need to tell the lawyers? Do I need to tell the police? Do I need to be on the run? Photoshop, Photoshop, Photoshop. No, we're fine. So here's Ella on a recent photo shoot, a cherry blossom photo shoot. This is before, this is after. In Analog Efex, there's a light flare in there, there's some bokeh in there, and there's a bit of vignetting. Here she is again, and we made it a little bit more dreamy and a bit more soft focus, but preserved the detail in the middle. That was done in Color Efex. Then here she is again, and guess what? Hurrah! Silver Efex. I'm a fan of Silver Efex. I've actually had Nik Collection for a number of years, and it's only this year that DxO knocked on my door and said, "Hey Mark, would you like to try Collection 9? To which I said, "No, not interested." "Of course, yes please, thank you very much." And I'm well impressed. I will call out any features that I think are a little bit more troublesome or need a little bit more work or whatever, but I haven't found any just yet. I've been really impressed with the changes they've made. And Silver Efex has long since been my favourite black and white editor. Then we have this picture, which we will use Viveza on to bring out some of the colours that are already in Ella's dress, lighten it to match the building in the background, and just do some general colour grading on it. So if that's something you're interested in doing, they're all on my website, they're all in a zip file. The zip file link is down below in the notes. Go and get them. I'm going to fill my coffee cup up, and I'm going to play the titles, and we shall get cracking. Oh, and the good people at DxO, and the running joke on one of these videos is we don't know if they're good. They could be evil overlords. So the Empire or rebels, whichever, the blue pill or the red pill people at DxO have given me a discount code for you, which is called MAH, which is MAH Studio. Don't bother writing it down, it's written down for you below in the video notes. You can download the software anyway for free and have a play with it, and if and when you decide that you would actually like to buy it, then that discount code will get you 15% off your purchase price. But I digress. That's getting away from the fun stuff of actually playing with this thing. So titles, coffee, you download, we'll meet up on the other side, and we'll get cracking. Okay, so here's our first picture of Ella, and this one's loaded into the Analog Efex. On the left, you've got presets and filters. We're not using a preset. A preset you can scroll through, you can search for, you can create favorites on, and you click and it will apply the changes in that preset to your picture. Filters, some come preloaded with an effect ready, but you just click the filter and it appears on the right hand side with a panel, and you can use that panel to make adjustments. Speaking of which, the basic adjustment panel is already there. I'm going to bring up the details somewhat, so the flowers pop a little bit more, possibly a little bit more, and also the brightness. So what did I want to do to this? I wanted to put bokeh, some background blur. So I'll click and it will come preloaded with some values, and you can see already it has increased the blur. This target in the middle, the inner circle is not blurred, the outer circle is maximum blurred according to what you've got on your slider, and between them is the transition from not blurred to blurred. So I want to make sure that we preserve Ella across her shoulder and face, like so, and I'm going to increase the blur strength. There you are. The background has certainly blurred a lot more. Incidentally, in terms of blurring, you have got a elliptical blur, or you've got a tilt shift, which is two sets of lines, but they work the same way. Preserved, total, and blended. Okay, so we'll just go back to our elliptical one. We've got that. Now let us add the vignette, or lens vignette. So let's just click on the plus. There's our panel. It has come with a certain amount of vignetting. I want to change the shape from being circle to rectangle to better suit this particular picture. So I'm going to swap it all the way over, and then I will obviously have to change the size of it because it's a bit too big. I am actually going to bring it in quite tight because I do want to really darken around the outsides, but not by that amount. I'm going to slide the amount back a little bit to about there, and switching any of these on and off, off and on. Moving on, we've got a light leak. I like light leaks, and it comes preloaded with this top one in the soft on screen 2. This is called a blend mode. I'll cover blend mode off in more detail in another video, but it's how the effect you are applying interacts with the underlying picture. So as you saw, we went from screen 2, which was a bit brighter, to screen. So it's blending the two, which is the picture and the effect, on screen at the same time. And there's not a lot I want to do other than pick one. So I'm going to go for dynamic, even though this is a soft picture, and this one in particular, because I think it works very well on this picture. Obviously I've done this edit before and I went through a few of them, and this is the one I arrived at. However, it is a little bit strong, so I am going to roll it back somewhat to about, I don't know, about 70ish, somewhere around there, something like that. And that's our first edit. So essentially we brought over a bokeh, light leak, lens vignette from filters, and we did some minor changes on them and some creative choice in selecting which ones we wanted to use. Let's do our next picture. So picture number 2 in Color Efex. Again, we've got presets and filters on the left, and the panels will pop over into the right. So what I want to play with on this one is definitely play with the Glamour Glow. We'll add that in. So here's our Glamour Glow panel, and the first thing I'm going to do is bring the glow up quite strong. Now that doesn't look as good as it should, but wait till I change the blend mode and blend it onto screen. There you go. That's that lovely softness we saw in the end result before, but I do want to increase the saturation here quite strongly, somewhere at high 70s, 80s, I don't know, somewhere around there. Don't care what number it is, I'm watching the screen, not the slider. And I also want to put in the warmth of that, so I'm going to take that up probably quite high as well at the end of the day, watching the screen there. Shadows, a bit too dark for me. I am going to lift the shadows, I think, to about there, possibly bring the highlights down just a touch, and that is fine, I think, for now. Okay, what next? Let's get a vignette on this, shall we? So vignette filter, and in the vignette filter you've got a series of shapes you want the vignette to be. I'm going to go with number 1, so it's coming in more from the left and the right rather than top and bottom as much. Just change the edges a little bit. Now the transition of the vignette from sharp to blurred, I like to put the transitions up quite a lot. In fact, this time 100. The size, I think I was quite happy with that. To judge the size, I brought the transition down to give me an idea. However, place center, see this? If I do that and then place it right in the middle of Ella's back, the circle, it's an important thing to do if you're really framing things up with a vignette. And let's put that transition all the way back up the top. The strength of it, however, is too strong for me, so I'm going to roll this back a little bit to about there. And I think we're nearly there. It just needs some tonal thing to finish off. So let's put a levels and curves in. There it is. It's alphabetical order. You'd think I'd be able to find it. And in our curve, I'm going to bring up the mids to shadows to brighten them. But then I'm going to bring down the higher side of things just a little bit. And there you are. There is our second edit. What's next? So here we are on Silver Efex, which has done a basic black and white rendition. We're going to add quite a few little panels to this one and a few masks as well. So let's just go into modern, because there is a particular modern one I like called Full Dynamic. It's in here somewhere. Oh, we've gone past it. There it is. We click on that one as our starting point. And then I want to do some basic adjustments. In the basic adjustments, brightness, just going to bump that up just a tiny bit. Highlights down a little bit. Midtones, yeah, we'll go for midtones up a little bit possibly. And dynamic brightness, I think I will boost as well. So let's see what the range is. Yep, we'll go somewhere around about there, I think. Contrast seems fine for me, looking at some of the darker areas and some of the lighter areas. I think fine structure will bring up, so let's look at the range. Actually, I'm going to take fine structure down a little bit to get a little bit more, a little less texture into the overall thing. Now then, are we happy with that? I think what we need to really do is brighten Ella's shoulders and face. So let's put a mask in, shall we? A local adjustment, and I'm just going to go and choose object selection. And by just hovering my mouse over, it's identified the body parts and it's put a mask on. So yep, we'll go with that, which is face and shoulder. And on the face and shoulder, really I just want to take the brightness up a little bit, I think. There you are. And again, fine structure we shall bring down, which is a softening, skin softening, just a bit. Now the brolly I think needs some attention, so I'm going to add an object selection, click on the brolly. There you are, it's found the brolly. You can actually name these, so for example double click on brolly, and so when you come back to revisit the edit you know which ones are which, even though you can find them very easily anyway. And on the brolly what I want to do is add more structure into it, whereas we took structure out of the other one, so I'm going to add more structure into the brolly, so you can see those spokes a little bit better. I'm going to amplify the blacks in the brolly so that these patterns and prints start to show through a little bit more, and I'm going to take a little bit of brightness out because we brought up Ella's face. I want to contrast that a little bit more by taking down the brolly. What about the dress? Shall we just, why not, we're on a roll, just to show you how easy this is. We'll pick the dress. We've got our dress. Go on, let's call it dress. And within the dress, we're just going to amplify the whites a little bit again. Possibly to about there. And put more structure in so we're seeing more of the folds in the fabric and some of the little creases and such and so forth. Which also tends to darken it a tiny bit, so we'll just bring those whites up again. And there you are. I'm quite happy, I think, with that. Do I want to add a vignette of any sort? Yeah, why not? Let's do a vignette. So let's add a filter and we'll go for a lens fall off vignette. So under vignette, you have several vignettes. You can just roll down through them to see what they're like. I particularly like lens fallout number 2. And all I want to do is just change the amount a little bit. There we are. And leave this one as a circle, whereas on the previous one we had it as a rectangle. Come back to basic adjustments, and I'm just going to take up the overall brightness to there, and there is my finished edit, including 3 masks. Took a little bit of time, but we were being methodical and I was explaining things. Let's go on to our final picture. So here we are in our final picture in Viveza, and I think we'll start straight away with global adjustments and bring up the brightness of this picture just a bit, something like that, and just warm it a little bit as well. I think there you go, you can see more of the peach and type colors coming through there, and I think we'll probably do the rest of it in masks. So let's add a local adjustment here. And what I want to target is the overall brightness of this upper quadrant, which seems to be too bright for my liking. So I'm just going to go area selection, and I'm going to choose the area. Now when we do masks, all will be explained about these, but essentially all the controls you've got down here are represented here, and you can work here sliding these back and forward. But moving swiftly on, what I want to do here is take some of the saturation out and add a bit more warmth. So let's take some saturation out, somewhere around about 30ish, 40ish, something like that. I'm watching the colours and the colour in Ella's dress, and I want to bring the warmth up. I'm trying to balance that peach out. Even though this is a darker tone, it is in the same hue, and I think I will leave that at that just for the moment, so you can switch this off and on just to see the effect it's had. You can see how we're bringing the colours back in there. Next, let's go for her dress. So add a filter, object selection, and there you are. Found the dress, just not even a click on it. And over in the dress, we could choose to keep tabs on things, call it a dress. So over in the dress, what I want to do is brighten it, I think, add a bit more structure as we did in the previous one, and warm it. So let's brighten it a little bit first, somewhere around about there. I think looks good. Add a bit more structure into it, something around about there, but I think that darkened it a tiny bit, so I'm going to just bring up the brightness a little bit more. We should warm it as well, because we did the warmth in the other one, because we're about balancing the colours and tones in this. So let's warm this as well. And I'm going to bring out a little bit more red, because in contrast to the building behind, I think there is a little bit more red. There's certainly some red picture frames, so I'm going to take the red channel and I'm just going to bring this up a little bit to about there. So if we switch this off and on to see the difference we've made, that is the dress taken care of. Next, I think we need to have a look at putting a little bit more light into Ella's face. Now we're going to use a control point here, which is a masking capability all in its own right. So for now, we're going to do this on face value. No pun intended, we're doing her face. So let's just click on Ella's face. Within a control point, you target based on where you put the point and the luminosity and the color or luminance and chrominance within that point. So I'm just going to change the mask on this to black and white, and if we look at Ella's face where the control point is, and if I take the luminosity down or up, you can see how I can refine the luminosity within that point that I'm targeting, and I'm just trying to find a decent range here. So I'm going to bring the luminosity further down to spread it a little bit, and I'm going to take the color up, and that hones it back in towards her skin, and that is a reasonable mask of her face. The others you can see because we've just got an overall black and white mask on, but I was just looking within the control point, and I'll switch that back now. What do I want to do with that? Well, I think what I want to do with it is just simply brighten it. So let's come to brightness and just pick that up just a little bit, somewhere around about there. Does it for me, I think. And that's more or less it, except I want to draw eyes up. So not even yet, I want to have some sort of graded darkness from the bottom coming up. So what we can do here is we can add a control line, and we'll put it around about there. There are various ways to apply different masks, but I prefer doing this sort of thing. I'll add the control line, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to invert it so that it comes from the bottom up. So I'm going to drag it up a little bit, or rather the transition a bit more, like so. So we've got darker and lighter, and indeed that is what we're going to do by changing the blacks. I think we'll go for. We'll just darken that off in the bottom, and possibly some of the midtones and shadows a little bit as well, and with and without that mask we just bring it up. So that is it. So now I've done all that, I just want to go back to global and just add a little bit of brightness back into the picture. And there you have it. Whether you like the edit or not is irrelevant. It's about the techniques and the ease at which you can go from choosing presets and filters and just applying them, and masks as well. I'm going to call it a day for that because my coffee is now empty and does need refilling. If you've got any questions, stick them in comments. And don't forget, if you like this and you want to try it, it's the free downloads. And if you want to buy it, you've got a discount code that you can apply. So I'll say bye for now. The next video probably won't be about Nik Collection. It'll probably be a Lightroom one, but then we'll be jumping back in. There's a lot to get into. Catch you on the next one.